We are not makers of history. We are made by history. A man who won't die for something is not fit to live. We cannot walk alone. I have decided to stick with love. Hate is too great a burden to bear. Lightning makes no sound until it strikes. Almost always, the creative dedicated minority has made the world better. Nonviolence is absolute commitment to the way of love. Love is not emotional bash, it is not empty sentimentalism. It is the active outpouring of one's whole being into the being of another. Never succumb to the temptation of bitterness. When you are right, you cannot be too radical. When you are wrong, you cannot be too conservative. Every man must decide whether he will walk in the light of creative altruism or in the darkness of destructive selfishness. We must use time creatively, in the knowledge that the time is always ripe to do right. Whatever your life's work is, do it well. A man should do his job so well that the living, the dead, and the unborn could do it no better. If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. There is nothing more tragic than to find an individual bogged down in the length of life, devoid of breadth. There comes a time when one must take a position that is neither safe nor politic nor popular, but he must take it because his conscience tells him it is right. No one really knows why they are alive until they know what they die for. Property is intended to serve life, and no matter how much we surround it with rights and respect, it has no personal being. It is part of the earth man walks on. It is not man. The function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education. We may have all come on different ships, but we're in the same boat now. Let no man pull you so low as to hate him. All labor that uplifts humanity has dignity and importance and should be undertaken with painstaking excellence. An individual has not started living until he can rise above the narrow confines of his individualistic concerns to the broader concerns of all humanity. Shallow understanding from people of goodwill is more frustrating than absolute misunderstanding from people of ill will. There comes a time when people get tired of being pushed out of the glittering sunlight of life's July and left standing amid the piercing chill of an alpine November. If I cannot do great things, I can do small things in a great way. The quality, not the longevity, of one's life is what is important. A lie cannot live. It is not enough to say we must not wage war. It is necessary to love peace and sacrifice for it. The past is prophetic in that it asserts loudly that wars are poor chisels for carving out peaceful tomorrows. Love is the only force capable of transforming an enemy into friend. There can be no deep disappointment where there is not deep love. Change does not roll in on the wheels of inevitability, but comes through continuous struggle. Only in the darkness can you see the stars. A genuine leader is not a searcher for consensus, but a molder of consensus. We must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope. No person has the right to reign on your dreams. We must learn to live together as brothers or perish together as fools. Everything that we see is a shadow cast by that which we do not see. The art of acceptance is the art of making someone who has just done you a small favor wish that he might have done you a greater one. A riot is the language of the unheard. Nothing in all the world is more dangerous than sincere ignorance and conscientious stupidity. Forgiveness is not an occasional act, it is a constant attitude. Not everybody can be famous, but everybody can be great because greatness is determined by service. You only need a heart full of grace and a soul generated by love. I came to the conclusion that there is an existential moment in your life and you must decide to speak for yourself. Nobody else can speak for you. I am not interested in power for power's sake, but I'm interested in power that is moral, that is right, and that is good. Our scientific power has outrun our spiritual power. We have guided missiles and misguided men. I have a dream that one day little black boys and girls will be holding hands with little white boys and girls. What is wrong in the world today is that the nations of the world are engaged in a bitter, colossal contest for supremacy. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. A nation or civilization that continues to produce soft-minded men purchases its own spiritual death on the installment plan. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. The moral arc of the universe bends at the elbow of justice. Of all the forms of inequality, injustice in healthcare is the most shocking and inhumane. The principle of self-defense, even involving weapons and bloodshed, has never been condemned, even by Gandhi. At the center of nonviolence stands the principle of love. Mankind must put an end to war, or war will put an end to mankind. Freedom is never voluntarily given by the oppressor, it must be demanded by the oppressed.